Benny the Bull, the godfather of NBA mascots. Benny the Bull wasn't just the league's first, he's arguably still the GOAT, debuting in 1969. Benny started as a goofy sideshow in a matador costume, but over time, he evolved into a trampoline-jumping, popcorn-spraying, fan-hyping legend. Why a bull? Besides the name, Chicago wanted a symbol that screamed power, speed, and don't mess with us. The bull fit the city's blue-collar toughness, and it didn't hurt that it looked great charging around in red fur. The most iconic performer, Barry Anderson, who wore the horns from 2004 to 2016. He was a former college mascot with a background in acrobatics, and under his run, Benny exploded in popularity. His reported salary, over $100,000 a year, making him one of the highest paid mascots in the NBA. His look has changed more times than the Bulls head coaches post-Jordan, but his energy always maxed out. Benny is the prototype, blending chaos, charisma, and that Chicago flair. And yes, he once got arrested in costume for riding a mini motorcycle through traffic. Truly iconic behavior. Rocky the Mountain Lion. Rocky's not just a mascot, he is an acrobat with attitude. Debuting in 1990, this mountain lion came out of the gate doing flips, dunks, and full court sprints. He is also one of the only mascots who regularly roast opposing teams and fans, while somehow staying lovable. So, why a mountain lion? Denver wanted a mascot that repped Colorado's Rocky Mountain roots. Tough, wild, and high-altitude ready. Mountain lions are native to the region, fast, agile, and kind of terrifying if you bump into one in the wild. Perfect mascot material. The man inside the fur, that would be Ken Solomon, who played Rocky for over 2 decades. He was a former gymnast with a flair for performing, and his salary, reportedly a jaw-dropping $625,000 per year, making him the highest-paid mascot in pro sports. Yet more than some bench players. Known for rappelling from rafters and throwing down backflips, in a lion suit, Rocky is elite tier chaos. Fun fact, in 2013, he passed out mid-descent before a game. The arena went silent. Denver thought they'd witnessed a live mascot funeral. To this day, Rocky remains one of the most athletic, outrageous, and highly paid mascots in league history, and honestly, he earns every penny. The gorilla. You know it is totally logical for a desert basketball team. A gorilla, obviously. The Suns gorilla wasn't even supposed to exist. In 1980, Henry Rojas, a singing telegram guy in a gorilla suit, was sent to the arena as a joke, but instead of leaving after the delivery, he started dancing in the stands. The crowd loved it. Security let it slide. And boom, the most unintentional mascot in NBA history was born. Why a gorilla? No deep symbolism. The Suns never planned it, which might be the most Phoenix thing ever. It was random, it was weird, and it stuck. Sometimes mascot greatness chooses you. Rojas kept the gig for years, becoming the prototype for athletic stunt mascots. Flips, trampoline dunks, even mid-game karate shows. After he retired, future performers kept the legacy alive with backflips, handstands, and light kung fu. No confirmed salary from the early days, but modern Suns performers have reportedly earned around $80,000 to $100,000 a year, plus appearances. Officially named Go the Gorilla, which sounds like a children's book title. He was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame in 2005. Random origin, legendary execution. Jazz Bear. Jazz Bear might look like a cuddly mountain creature, but don't let the fuzzy ears fool you. This dude's basically the WWE of name mascots. Since his 1994 debut, he's crashed through walls on a Harley, bungee, jumped from the rafters, and once chucked a cake into a fan's face on purpose. So why a bear? Utah is a mountain state with real-life bears roaming the wild, tough, agile, and not exactly house-trained. It was the perfect symbol for a franchise that wanted something bold, rugged, and ready to body slam boredom. The man inside the mayhem, John Abezi, who played Jazz Bear from day one until 2018. He wasn't just wearing the suit, he was the character. With a background in gymnastics and performance, he turned the role into full-blown physical comedy art. His reported salary, around $100,000 a year, plus bonuses for appearances. Honestly, not enough for a guy who literally broke ribs for entertainment. In fact, he has been ejected from games multiple times for getting too rowdy, as in, security had to walk the bear out. Legendary despite the chaos, Jazz Bear is beloved in Utah. Sev is inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame in 2006 and holds what might be the league record for most mascot-related injuries. Real talk, the man inside that suit deserved hazard pay. Clutch the Rocket Bear. His name is Clutch. And when your mascot debuts right after back-to-back championships, you better live up to it. Rockets introduced this big gray bear in 1995, not long after the Rockets title run. Why a bear? No deep space pun here. It was more about having a family-friendly mascot that could hype up crowds and take a pie to the face without flinching. Clutch was designed to be approachable, funny, and full of energy, balancing out Rockets' hardcore fanbase with a little fur and flair, and it worked. He is known for eating nachos off fans' laps, stealing signs from kids, and showing up to birthday parties like he runs the town. The original man behind the snout, Robert Boudwin, a former marketing intern who pitched the idea and then became Clutch himself. He performed from 1995 to 2016 and helped build the brand from scratch. Clutch's prank game is elite, and his costume quick changes and physical comedy make him one of the most dynamic mascots in the league. In 2006, he was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame. Hugo the Hornet. Hugo the Hornet isn't just a mascot, he is a survivor. Debuting in 1988 with the original Charlotte Hornets, Hugo quickly became one of the most beloved mascots in the league. Why a hornet? That goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War, when British General Cornwallis called Charlotte a hornet's nest of rebellion. So yeah, Hugo has got historical swagger. The name Hugo was chosen through a fan contest, and his sleek, bug-eyed design came courtesy of the Warner Bros. Character team. That's right, Looney Tunes DNA is literally in this mascot's veins. The guy was designed for stardom. The most iconic performer, Michael Cirillo, who donned the Hugo suit throughout the 90s and early 2000s, he had a background in gymnastics and acrobatics and brought a high-flying style that turned halftime into highlight reels. The team moved to New Orleans. In 2002, Hugo went with them, but when the Hornets name returned to Charlotte in 2014, so did Hugo, reborn, rebooted, and still dunking like he has got springs in his antennae. Moondog and Sir CC. Why have one mascot when you can have two? The Cavs introduced Moondog in 2003, a sunglasses-wearing, hip-hop-loving pup inspired by Cavs' rock and roll history. The name Moondog pays tribute to Alan Freed, the Cavs DJ who coined the term rock and roll back in the 1950s. So yeah, this mascot's got a little music, legend in his fur. Then in 2010, the team added Sir CC, a medieval-style mascot meant to represent the Cavalier in Cavaliers. He is supposed to be a noble swordsman, but let's be real, he kind of looks like a cartoon knight who wandered off from a theme park. Moondog is the face of the operation. He is known for wild dunks, dance battles. The performer behind Moondog has never been officially named, but local sources say the role has rotated among trained stunt performers and dancers. Sir CC hasn't been quite as beloved. Fans were pretty mixed on the redesigns over the years, but together, the two bring a mix of modern energy and medieval cosplay to Cleveland's court. One's got sunglasses, one's got a sword. Somehow it works. Champ and Mavsman. First up, Mavsman, a walking, talking basketball with biceps, originally part of the teams in Arena Entertainment. In the late 90s, he became a full mascot by 2002. Why this look? Mavsman was meant to be a superhero version of the team logo, complete with spandex, sunglasses, and big-eye bench press three-point shots energy. But the fans' reactions were mixed, so in 2010, the Mavs added Champ, a teal-colored horse with a mohawk, sneakers, and unlimited cartwheel energy. The horse was a hit. Why a horse? Because Maverick means unbranded horse. It took a while, but they finally leaned into it. Hooper. Hooper might look like a cartoon pony, but don't let the big eyes fool you. This horse is pure Motor City chaos. Since his 1996 debut, he's been dunking off trampolines, trolling fans, and making sure every game includes at least one moment of, did he really just do that? So why a horse? Simple. Detroit runs on horsepower, pistons, engines, speed. Hooper represents all of that, and then throws a t-shirt cannon at it for good measure. The performer's identity never confirmed, but insiders say he is a trained acrobat with stunt chops and a sharp sense of humor. Boomer. Boomer isn't just a cat, he is a one-man dunk contest. Since 1991, this blue and yellow feline wrecking ball has been flipping across the hardwood like he owns it. Long tail, tall ears, absurd vertical leap. He is not here to look cute, he is here to dominate the halftime show. So why a cat? The Pacers have never fully explained it. There's no racing cat tradition in Indy. But Boomer's got speed, spring, and swagger, and that pretty much covers Indiana's game plan since the Reggie Miller days. The original performer hasn't been publicly named, but Boomer has been played by a series of elite gymnasts and dunk specialists. Boomer was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame in 2007, and he is still one of the most athletic mascots in the league. If NBA mascots had a dunk contest, Boomer is the three-time champ walking in with a cape. Z-Man. Man might be one of the NBA's most slept-on mascots, but don't mistake low profile for low energy. Debuting in 1997, this blue-masked, spandex-wearing acrobat has been flipping through Wizards games for over 2 decades. So why G-Man? It's short for G-Force, and originally tied to the Washington Bullets, rebranded to the Wizards. A name change meant to soften the image while keeping some edge. G-Man was built to be a high-flying superhero, a costumed vigilante with a dunk addiction. The identity of the performer hasn't been confirmed publicly, but longtime fans say the original G-Man was a trained gymnast and stunt performer who helped redefine mascot athleticism in the early 2000s. Harry the Hawk. Harry the Hawk might wear sneakers and shades, but don't be fooled. This bird's a lifer. Debuting in 1986, Harry's one of the longest running mascots in the NBA. Over the years, he's mastered the art of trampoline dunks, full court sprints, and breakdancing on hoverboards, all while wearing feathers. So why a hawk? Simple, it's the team name, sure, but it also fits Atlanta's fast, fierce take-flight vibe. Harry's a symbol of speed, altitude, and southern swagger, with a beak full of attitude. The performer never officially named, but insiders say Harry, as suit has been worn by trained acrobats and dancers, often with backgrounds in college cheer or gymnastics. Estimated salary around $60,000 to $75,000 a year, with plenty of appearances across Georgia's schools and events. Bango the Buck. Bongo's not just a mascot, he is a daredevil with antlers. First introduced in 1977, Bongo started as a friendly forest creature, but over time, evolved into a stunt-performing maniac who dunks off ladders, rappels from ceilings, and once backflipped off a 20-foot platform blindfolded. So why a buck? The team name, but also it connects to Wisconsin's hunting culture, the state animal, and the deer imagery the franchise has leaned into for decades. Bango's name actually comes from Old Buck's radio broadcasts, where the announcer would yell Bango every time a player hit a big shot. The most famous man behind the antlers, Kevin Vander Kolk, who performed as Bango for over a decade. He had a background in gymnastics and extreme sports, and basically turned the role into an adrenaline act. His reported salary, around $80,000 to $100,000, with bonuses for live stunt events, all-star weekends, and community work. Bango's signature moves include climbing 20-foot ladders for reverse dunks, ziplining into the arena, and faking mid-game injuries just to prank the crowd. He's even had 2 ACL surgeries. Yes, the mascot tore his ACL and came back flipping like nothing happened. He was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame in 2019, and he's still considered one of the most athletic and daring mascots in league history. If Benny's the GOAT, Bango's the lunatic stunt double, the Raptor. The Raptor might be the only mascot who's ever gotten a standing ovation while being wheeled off the court in a dinosaur cast. Debuting with the franchise in 1995, he quickly became one of the most physically gifted and entertaining mascots in the league, and arguably the most beloved figure in Raptors history not named Kahi. Why a Raptor? Jurassic Park fever. Plain and simple. The team was born in the mid-90s when dinosaurs were box office gold, and the Raptor became the franchise's walking, dunking, tail-whipping brand ambassador. Grizz. Grizz doesn't get the headlines of Benny or Rocky, but real ones know. This dude is elite tier athletic, violently funny, and sneakily one of the most creative mascots in the league. He debuted in 2001 when the Grizzlies relocated from Vancouver to Memphis and needed a brand reset that still kept the name. So why a grizzly bear? The team carried the Grizzlies name from Vancouver, which made perfect sense in Canada, not so much in Memphis. But instead of rebranding, the team leaned in. They turned Grizz into a symbol of toughness, strength, and don't mess with me energy, which honestly works perfectly for Memphis fans. Burnie. Burnie is not just Miami's mascot, he is a walking meme in fur form. Debuting in 1988, this bright orange thing, with green goggles and a basketball nose, has been confusing and entertaining fans for over 30 years. So what is he? According to The Heat, Burnie is the flaming ball in the team's original logo. Literally a fireball with sneakers, he represents heat, but also chaos, comedy, and a total disregard for personal space. Over the years, Burnie has become infamous for getting into trouble. He was sued in Kabir, Rico for pulling a fan on the court. He's been punch-slapped by celebrities, and in 2023, Conor McGregor legit knocked him out mid-court in a stunt gone wrong. Paramedics were involved. The performer has changed over the years, but during Burnie's golden era, the suit was worn by was Lockhart, a trained acrobat and comedian. Stuff the Magic Dragon. Stuff isn't just a mascot, he's a walking highlighter with horns. Debuting in 1989, this neon green horned dragon has been entertaining Orlando fans with trampoline dunks, foam fingers, and the kind of energy that feels like a pixie stick overdose. So why a dragon? Honestly, no one really knows. There's no dragon lore in Orlando, no medieval theme, but the team leaned into magic as a concept, and a fire-breathing, slam-dunking dragon just felt right, and it stuck. Franklin the dog. Franklin might be one of the newest mascots in the NBA, but he showed up with old-school Philly grit, debuting in 2015. This blue fuzzy dog was introduced to replace hip-hop. The team's short-lived, hyper-athletic rabbit from the early 2000s. Let's just say, Philly wasn't feeling the bunny. So why a dog? The Sixers wanted something more relatable, family-friendly, and still tough, and dogs, especially bulldog breeds, have long been associated with Philly's sports culture. Franklin's name nods to Benjamin Franklin, because of course it does. Rumble the Bison. The Seattle Supersonics became the Oakland City Thunder in 2008. The team needed a mascot that screamed strength, resilience, and Okino roots. Enter Rumble the Bison, a fur-covered force of nature who looks like he could bench press a mascot and a drum line. Why a bison? It's Oklahoma's state animal and a symbol of survival, tying into Native American folklore where bison were revered as protectors and warriors. Rumble's backstory, according to the team, is that he was struck by lightning while saving his herd and emerged stronger than ever. Coyote. The coyote doesn't look like much at first. Big bugged out eyes, furry legs, and a total disregard for pants. But don't let that fool you. This guy is a mascot mastermind. Debuting in 1983. He's been cracking jokes, dunking off trampolines, and dominating the halftime comedy game for over 40 years. Why a coyote? There's no deep lore here. It's a nod to Texas wildlife, and the coyote's sly, unpredictable vibe fits San Antonio's blue-collar personality. He's scrappy, quick, and never predictable, just like the best Spurs teams. The most legendary performer, Tim Derrick, also known as the Coyote Guy, who played the role for over 20 years. He helped turn the character into a comic genius meets athletic beast, with perfect timing and physical comedy. He was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame in 2007, and even after 4 decades, he's still one of the most consistently funny and creative mascots in the NBA. Weird eyes, no pants, no notes. Slamson the Lion. Slamson isn't just a mascot, he's King's royalty. Debuting in 1997, this purple lion has been hyping up Sacramento crowds with acrobatics, alley-oops, and just enough menace to keep rival mascots nervous. So why a lion? Think about it. King's crowns pride royalty. The lion's been a symbol of leadership for centuries, and Slamson brings that energy to the court with a mohawk, a tail, and the occasional trampoline. The original performer hasn't been officially confirmed, but he is believed to be a trained stuntman with gymnastics experience, hired during the late 90s when mascots were expected to flip as well as flex. Chuck the Condor? Chuck didn't exactly soar out of the gate, introduced in 2016. This bright blue condor with neon pink shoes and a huge beak was met with confusion. Fans roasted him on Twitter. Some called him Budget Big Bird. But over time, Chuck found his groove and his flips. Why a condor? Believe it or not, the California condor is one of the largest flying birds in North America, and it's native to the state. The Clippers wanted something unique to California and not already used by another team, so they went with big wings, big colors, and big mascot energy. The original performer wasn't publicly named, but sources say Chuck was played by a trained acrobat and stunt performer with a background in live event work. Crunch the Wolf. Crunch might be the most underrated mascot in the NBA. Debuting in 1996, this gray and blue wolf has been dunking, flipping, and howling his way through Timberwolves games for nearly 3 decades, and he's only gotten more athletic with age. Pierre the Pelican. Pierre was never supposed to be scary, but when he debuted in 2013, his face said otherwise, with sunken eyes, a giant beak, and a 1,000-yard stare. The original Pierre looked less like a mascot and more like something from a horror movie. The internet noticed hard. So why a pelican? The team had just rebranded from the Hornets to the Pelicans. the state bird of Louisiana and a symbol of resilience and toughness, especially post-Hurricane Katrina. Pierre was meant to embody that, proud, local, unshakable. Blaze the trail cat. Blaze might not be the loudest mascot in the NBA, but don't underestimate him. This gray wildcat with red eyes and a Blazers jersey has been crushing dunk contests, dancing with fans, and striking superhero poses since 2002. So why a cat? The Blazers never gave an official reason, but Blaze is clearly a wildcat hybrid, likely chosen for agility, stealth, and sleek style, all of which tie into Portland's identity, understated, sharp, and a little unpredictable. Also, cats don't trail behind. More videos like this are on the way. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Appreciate you watching.